Hi, friends and family of First CRC. It's Pastor Moses coming to you with this week's Midweek Thoughts. I don't know if you remember seeing these pictures behind me in my office in one of the earlier Midweek Thoughts. They are, as one of you have rightly pointed out, they are pictures from the Canadian Rockies that Gloria and I visited before we had any children. Of course, it made hiking up places easier. It made visiting all these different sites much easier. Now, I'm not trying to brag about these pictures, and yes, I did take them myself. It's been almost 10 years since we visited, and quite frankly, I don't really remember a lot about this trip, except that we did go to the Rockies. But when I look at the pictures, it starts to come back. The memories of that trip start to come back. The memories of the places that we visited, the first hike that we went to, the first hot springs that we visited, the first Canadian Alberta beef that we tasted, all of this starts to come back. When I start looking at these pictures, I remember that exact moment when I was in that location. A lot of the things that actually happened, believe it or not, we tend to forget. One of the things that I want to speak to you about is the passage that I'll be preaching on this week, which is John chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. It is one of the most famous stories in the gospel because it is regarded to be the first miracle that Jesus did, turning water into wine. Now, if I asked you, can you tell me the story, the miracle that Jesus did at Cana, at the wedding where he turned water into wine? I'm sure you could probably all tell me right away that Mary went to Jesus, his son, and said, "We have run out of wine. We need more wine." And of course, Jesus asked the servants to pour water into these jugs. And boom, just like that, the water turned into wine. And when the wine tester actually tasted this wine, said, "Wow, this is the best wine. Most people serve the good wine at the beginning of the wedding party, but you guys are so amazing because you guys serve it at the very end when most people are probably already drunk and don't even recognize or distinguish between good wine and bad wine." Jesus performing this miracle. But there's actually some details in that story that we tend to forget. Just as when we look at these pictures, we see some of the details. When we look at John chapter 2 with fresh eyes, we get to see some things that we probably did not give much thought to. Most importantly, why is this miracle even recorded in the first place? This Sunday, I want to go over all of that with you as we look at the miracle that Jesus did in Cana as he turned water into wine. Let's refresh our memories, just as Pastor Nick said, back to that time in Sunday school when we first heard it. But let's refresh it together as we read the passage from John chapter 2, verse 1 and 11. I invite you to read it as we worship together this Sunday, 9:30, both online and here at First CRC in person. I hope to see you. Blessings.